What do you get when you throw a 5'0" brittle bone bookworm into a brutal dragon war college run by her own mom, where dragons judge you harder than your ex? Oh, just chaos, body count, and a broody man with tattoos and trauma. Welcome to Fourth Wing. Let's ride. All right, it's conscription day, the day when every 20-year-old in Navarre picks a quadrant at Basgiath War College to go into. It's like a deadly Hogwarts sorting hat. Which one of these quadrants is least likely to kill me? Enter Violet Sorengale, our tiny, frail bookworm. She's headed upstairs to see her mom, General Lilith Sorengale. Because nothing says family bonding like your mom signing you up for possible death in the ultra-competitive, ultra-dangerous Writers Quadrant. Violet overhears her sister Mira going full big sis mode, begging mom not to send Violet to the Writers. Because, yeah, apparently tossing your joint pain-prone child into dragon combat school is peak parenting. Mom's like, nope, it's a family tradition. She's going to be a writer or die trying. Never mind, she spent her whole life training to be a scribe like her dad. Mira practically stuffs Violet into a dragon-scale vest that's thicker than my emotional baggage and rapid-fires survival tips. 1. Wear the vest at all times. 2. Most of the cadets will probably try to kill you because mom's the general. 3. Find Dane Eidos, your childhood friend / the boy you've been crushing on for years. 4. Avoid anyone with a rebellion tattoo, especially Xaden Ryerson, resident bad boy and wing leader. You know, classic sibling pep talk. And now we're headed to the parapet, that death bridge where you cross, or you plummet to your death. Violet meets two newbies, Rhiannon, who's instant BFF material, and Dylan, who's in love with his hometown sweetheart, which means he's doomed, of course. She sees that Rhiannon's shoes are not ideal for the parapet's slick conditions, so she trades one of her boots to give her a better chance of surviving. Rhiannon is now Team Violet for life. As the candidates line up, Xaden Ryerson strolls in. Tall, tattooed, and broody. Violet's instantly swooning. Except he immediately goes, "Your mom killed my dad." And Violet fires back, "Well, your dad killed my brother, so there's that." Before more heated banter can be exchanged, Dylan takes a spill and falls. Splat. Our first death. Violet's like, "Cool, I'm next." She's muttering historical trivia while crossing to keep from freaking out and survives. But Jack Barlow, the annoying kid behind her who has main villain energy, charges her at the end of the parapet trying to pull her off. But Violet casually puts a dagger near his favorite anatomy and reminds him. Murder is frowned upon when higher-ups are watching. He eventually backs off but vows to get revenge. Post-death bridge, Violet faceplants into Dane Eidos, childhood crush turned overprotective squad leader. He's like, "Leave now before you snap in half." And Violet's like, "Excuse me, did you miss my Olympic-level sprint across that death bridge?" But sure, whatever. They get sorted into squads, and yay, Violet's with Rhiannon and Dane. But then Xaden drags their squad under his wing. Not good for Violet. Dragons show up, roasting cowards for sport. Xaden's dragon, Segale, a massive navy blue dragon, literally eyeballs Violet like an appetizer platter. Now that she's made it past the parapet, she still has to survive classes and combat training that's mostly just sanctioned murder. Imogen, a marked one, snaps her arm during assessment day, and she ends up at the infirmary and gets herself a sexy new sling that practically screams, "Kill me, I'm the weak link." Our girl heads back to the dorms and finds a journal and note from dear old sis, Mira. The journal belonged to their dead brother, Brennan. It's basically a guide on how to survive dragon school with lots of tips and tricks, including how to figure out who you'll be fighting before it's announced. So our girl is cooking up poisons and weakening her opponents left and right. As she's collecting poison for her next combat challenge, Violet discovers that Xaden and his rebel friends have been meeting in secret off-campus, which is totally illegal. As she's climbing down from the tree, Xaden sneaks up on her and confronts her about spying, but she promises not to tell since their meeting was just about helping out the first-year rebel cadets and nothing nefarious. Next, Violet and her squad train for the Gauntlet. Think American Ninja Warrior competition, but for dragon riders. You have to complete this before you can go on to threshing, which is the day where you either bond with a dragon or get barbecued trying. Due to her size, Violet struggles with the final gauntlet, but she finds a loophole. Using a dagger, she crossed the parapet she stabs it into the structure to pull herself up. It's an unorthodox method, which Amber Mavis, the wing leader of Third Wing, is not happy about, but it doesn't technically break any rules in the Codex. She passes and makes it to presentation day, where the dragons get to judge you harder than your ex and decide if you're worthy of bonding with or not. During threshing, Violet saves a little golden feather-tailed dragon from being murdered by Jack and Co. Xaden is there, but according to the rules, he can't interfere. But luckily, she gets backup from Tarn, the biggest, baddest black dragon with I hate everyone vibes. He mind speaks to her, which basically means he's picked her to bond to. And Violet's like, holy shit, I have a dragon. She crawls up his forearm and they fly to the meetup point. Violet falls off multiple times, annoying Tarn. He catches her and is like, stop it. You're making us look bad. They get to the flight field and everyone is shocked to see Tarn because he wasn't supposed to be bonding this year. She goes up to the record keeper and tells her Tarn's name, but then hears another voice in her head. Yep, the little golden dragon. That's right. Plot twist, Violet bonds with 2 dragons. Everyone is shook, including Violet. As an added bonus, Dane tells her that Tarn is bonded to Segel, Xaden's dragon, so now they are all bonded together. So if Violet dies, then Xaden dies too. Dane implies that Xaden set this up, but Xaden interrupts and says, no, Segel was there. Obviously, she told her mate what was happening, and Tarn showed up and chose Violet all on his own. Xaden asks Dane, what would you have done if you were there and saw Violet being attacked 3-1? Would you have broken the rules for her? Dane reluctantly says no, and Violet is disappointed. So, yep, Xaden now has a vested interest in keeping Violet alive because of their dragon's bond, and Violet has just found out her childhood BFF wouldn't break the rules even to save her life. The cadets who bonded with a dragon get their sexy dragon relic tattoos, and Dane gives Violet a super disappointing kiss. That night, a group of dragonless cadets sneak into Violet's room to kill her, hoping Tarn will bond to them instead. Tarn's trying his best to talk her through it to give Xaden time to get there, but just as a cadet tries to slit Violet's throat, Andarna screams, mine, and freezes time. That's right, freezes time. When time resumes, Xaden storms in, shadow magic blazing, and takes out all the assassins. Really just a casual Tuesday for him. After this brush with death, Xaden hauls her to the flight field to talk to their dragons. He's like, what kind of power are you channeling to her, Tarn? And that's when Violet realizes that Xaden and Tarn can mind speak, and she and Segel can too through the dragon's mating bond. Andarna reveals that feathertails are actually juvenile dragons, and technically not allowed to bond because their power can be taken by a rider versus them letting the rider borrow it. This is extremely dangerous and could kill Andarna if Violet uses too much of her powers. Xaden asks Violet about the identity of the rider who let the assassins into her room. Violet hesitates, but admits who it was. The next morning at assembly, Xaden accuses wing leader Amber Mavis of orchestrating the attack on Violet. It's against the rider's codex to kill another rider in their sleep. Dane jumps in and says, that can't be. Amber would never, and tries to memory read Violet without her consent. She's shocked he doesn't believe her and pissed. Tarn projects Violet's memories, minus the time-stopping bit, for everyone to see, like Dragon Netflix. Amber Mavis, the traitor, gets barbecued on the spot. Justice is served dragon style. After the assassination attempt, Liam is now assigned to protect Violet. She hates this, of course, but goes with it. And now he's accompanying her everywhere like a loyal golden retriever. She goes to the archives and sees her old friend Jesinia. She asks Jesinia for a book of fables that her dad used to read to her, but Jesinia can't find the book, which is weird because the archives is supposed to have a copy of every book in Navarre. Violet starts piecing together that the war school might not be teaching the whole truth about what's happening outside the wards. Why are the wards failing? Why are their enemies doing stuff no one warned them about? And why is Xaden always disappearing on classified missions? During sparring lessons, Violet sees Xaden and Garrick sparring shirtless and can't keep her mouth closed. She notices a ton of scars on Xaden's back and makes a mental note of this. After an emotional test of will, Tarn finally feels she's ready and starts channeling his powers to her. But he does this right before he and Segel have sexy dragon time, which totally feeds into Violet. She's like, oh my god, I have to get out of here. And runs into Xaden outside, who's also feeling the effects. Violet and Xaden end up kissing so hard that lightning strikes. Spoiler alert, that's her signet power. But Xaden puts a stop to it before anything can escalate further. Squad battle time. Violet and her squad successfully steal a large war map from her mother's office to win the challenge. Their prize? A trip to an outpost where Mira is stationed. Perfect sister bonding time. While visiting, Mira gives Violet her book of fables. Violet, Rhiannon, and Mira sneak out to visit Rhiannon's family, who live nearby. Xaden shows up, killing their mood, and says, "Yeah, apparently our dragons can't be apart for more than 3 days." Violet discovers Xaden can mind speak to her now, but she can't figure out how to do it herself. Mira sees the tension between Violet, Xaden, and Dane and tells them to figure out their shit. Griffins attack the outpost, and they have to haul ass back to Basgiath. Once back at Basgiath, Violet begs for news of her sister, which she gets and learns that Mira is safe and alive. This is when she also figures out how to mind speak back to Xaden. Before War Games, Taryn and Xaden surprise Violet with a saddle made just for her so she can keep her seat on Taryn. She reluctantly accepts but is happy when she tries it out. War Games commence, and Jack tries to kill Liam during a game of Capture the Flag, but with an egg. Violet is furious. Andarna freezes time so Violet can save Liam, and Violet's new lightning signet is unleashed, obliterating Jack from the cliff. R.I.P. Human garbage. Violet, now with access to lightning, is nauseated that she just used her power to kill someone. She's throwing up, and Dane is trying to tell her it's okay. You don't have to use it again if you don't want to. Then Xaden chimes in and says, "BS, this is exactly the kind of power you need in order to save lives." Still upset, Violet's throwing daggers in her room, mad and pouting. Xaden visits to see if she's okay, and tension boils. Violet and Xaden kiss so hard that they're breaking furniture and causing literal thunderstorms outside. The curtains combust, and the mood is just chef's kiss. Afterwards, she asks about the scars on his back. Xaden reveals that there are 107 of them, and that they are a result of a deal he made. The deal allows the 107 children of the rebellion leaders the chance to fight in the Riders' Quadrant instead of being executed like their parents. Xaden's scars is him taking responsibility for all 107 children, so if any of them betray Navarre, his life is forfeited. After training her new signet power with Professor Carr, Violet is moving stuff around in her room when she sees her book of fables. A cryptic note from her dad has slipped out. It basically says, "It only takes one desperate generation to change history, even erase it. I know you'll make the right choice when the time comes." This leaves Violet with so many questions. Xaden's there, and Violet says, "I can't do this again without falling in love with you." Xaden is fighting his feelings and basically says, "I don't do love. You don't even know me, not to my core." But he's secretly training her, watching her back, and falling in love even though it's against the rules and he told her he wouldn't. The college hosts a celebration where we see Colonel Eidos, Dane's dad, and General Melgren. But Xaden and the other marked ones don't show. The celebration is for the anniversary of when the rebellion was stopped. So the day Xaden's dad died, and the day Brennan, Violet's brother, also died. Violet finds him on the parapet and talks him back to his room, where things heat up again. Their banter? Top tier. The tension? Makes my Kindle overheat. The payoff? So spicy. The windows break and there's another lightning storm. Now Xaden's like, "Okay, fine. You're my girlfriend." But before they can go for round 4, there's a pounding at the door and Garrick yells, "I think we're under attack." Just kidding. It's just War Games. Xaden and his group of rebel riders get sent on a suspicious mission. He takes Violet and Liam with him. Dane doesn't want her to go saying, "You'll get her killed." But Xaden wins because Sigale and Taryn can't be separated. Dane tells Violet, "I'll miss you," like it's a final goodbye. Outside Athabine, they stop by a lake so their dragons can rest when a group of Griffin riders show up. It quickly becomes clear that Xaden knows them and has been working with them for a long time. Other members of the riders group, like Liam and Imogen, also know, which has Violet saying, "What the hell?" She's hurt and betrayed. Xaden explains that the Griffin riders are not the enemy that Navarre needs to worry about. He tells Violet that he is working with them because Venin, from Violet's Book of Fables, actually exist, and they are the real threat to the continent. Violet is also surprised to realize that her dragons knew and didn't tell her. Double betrayal. They get to the Athabine outpost and find it completely abandoned. Zayden's like, "This smells like a trap." Liam finds a note from Colonel Edus, and it basically says their mission is to survive if they can. A group of Venin are coming, and they can stay and defend the town of Ressin, or they can leave and try to join other riders in the war games. Basically, this is a big test of their loyalty. Zayden asks Violet if Dame has ever touched her face, not just her temples, but her face. And she says, "Yeah, but he does that all the time." That's when Zayden reveals that Dane's mind-reading abilities require touching her face, not just her temples. So he must have seen in Violet's memories when Zayden told her a while ago he was at Athabine on a secret mission. Violet's like, "Dane, that little snitch?" Triple betrayal. Venin attack, chaos ensues, and Wyvern, which are two-legged dragons controlled by the Venin, are also real. Liam tragically dies when his dragon is attacked and killed because a dragon without its rider is a tragedy, but a rider without their dragon is dead. Sadly, we're still crying about this. Violet kills a Venin mid-poison stab, and Tarn is wounded. As Violet falls off Tarn, Andarna freezes time so Zayden can catch her. He whisks her to Arisha, aka Rebel HQ, which should be burned to the ground but isn't, where she wakes up alive and finds that she's been healed by her brother Brennan. Yes! Her dead brother who is actually alive. He walks in, waving and says, "Welcome to the revolution, Violet." And that, folks, is how Fourth Wing leaves us. Dragons bonded, bad boy lover revealed as a rebel leader, and dead brother suddenly alive. If you enjoyed this recap, drop a lightning bolt emoji in the comments and tell me your favorite scene.